Oh my god, what a great time to be a 40k fan who loves to play video games. Dark Heresy is going into early access alpha literally this week. Dawn of War 4 is on the horizon for 2026. Darktide is still a great time in 2025 with continued updates. Space Marine 3 is confirmed to be in development, and I'm still making my way through Rogue Trader. I am as happy as a Nurgleen covered in grim dark plague poop right now. The Game Awards were awesome, and I'm 3 for 3 on my Total War Games I Wanted the Most tier list video that I released just over a week ago, making this the first time in my entire life I've gotten full marks for anything. Total War Warhammer 40,000 is real. It's coming, and I cannot fucking wait. I would like to revel in its glory for a bit, as I believe 40k and Total War coming together could be one of the greatest gaming franchise matchups in gaming franchise matchup history. Now, I'm not here to talk about the 4 factions we're getting on release, which are the Space Marines, Space Militarum, Space Orcs, and Space Elves. Nor am I going to discuss the possible pre-order DLC faction. My money's on Space Marines or Turnids, but oh, there's no pre-order DLC faction? What's the matter? Don't you like money anymore? What's next? You're going to tell me you're not going to make a Blood and Gore DLC? Wait. Is Creative Assembly and Sega actually behind this game, or has it been handed over to somebody else? I don't understand. Don't worry, handsome viewers, I'm sure they'll find the most ethical and humane methods possible to milk us dry for the next 10 years. It'll be okay. I'm also not going to talk about the new engine, even though that's actually the one thing that we desperately needed to hear to perhaps not guarantee, but perhaps at least fortify a chunk of goodwill towards a healthy and hopeful future for Total War. I'm also not going to talk about the possibility of space fleet battles or the army painting customization that you can allegedly perform down to the level of a Space Marine's fingertip, and that this is going to be the glorious digitization of Warhammer 40,000 from the tabletop, and that I never have to invest in another box of plastic crack ever again, and the dried stains of Retributor armor paint won't look like poop stains on my fingertips anymore, so people in public places will stop thinking I shove my fingers up my butthole? Or that you can do exterminatuses on entire planets, which is probably just raising settlements with extra steps. Or that there's going to be an entire galactic campaign map supplemented seamlessly with more focused, narrative-driven micro-campaigns, or flashpoints as they're calling them. Or that individual bodies in a unit can further be customized with different armaments, gear, and abilities. Holy shit! Yep, never mind all that. We're not talking about any of that lame stuff. After all, you can read all about it on the game's Steam page, the blog, or watch it from the other 700 YouTubers who have verbally regurgitated the exact same thing, only with the trailer on repeat for 8 minutes for their B-roll. Anyway, what I do want to cover is the thing people have been shitting and coming about ever since the potential concept of a Total War 40k game ever existed in our hopes and dreams.
How can loose squad-based ranged infantry work in a Total War game? It's not possible. Total War is meant for classic armies, orchestrated and ranked and
Damn it! Will you shut the hell up? Nobody gives a rat's ass!
Basically, when some people attempted to do the basic math of adding 40,000 to the variable Total War in their heads, they began to mouth breathe as their brains hemorrhaged in agony from the sheer strain they placed on themselves because they simply could not visualize in their bloodshot, crusty, blank, dumb mind's eye what a Total War 40k game could actually look like. So they took to Reddit and YouTube comment sections in droves to explicitly state how 40k's futuristic ranged heavy combat could never fit in the classic rank-and-file style of army control that Total War games have been known for the last 25 years. But then what's this? And this? And how about this?
Victory as humanity rages.
And this?
A diversion attack.
There are plenty of game and cinematic examples that depict genuinely amazing and climatic scenes in Warhammer 40k of combat being fought in an open, coverless environment. So much so that if you pulled the camera out a tad and slapped a UI over it,
I said the real
UI.
perfection.
You'd have a goddamn screenshot of a Total War game. I understand we're getting some crazy new dynamic cover system, and that's great, that's cool, but what I'm saying is Total War could handle the 40k setting with or without it. It's genuinely great that they want to evolve the franchise and make cover, and I'm sure it'll turn out great after 23 patches over the course of 4 years, and that their new magical engine of magic is supposed to be able to generate cover dynamically from obliterating the environment, and that the AI should react to and use this to its advantage too. But I'll believe how effective, intuitive, responsive, and useful this will actually be in reality once I can experience it for myself in the game. In like, what, 2-3 years at the least, probably? I'm just saying that an open plain with some slopey hills, some big rocks, kind of like what they've already shown, is already more than enough for glorious large-scale Warhammer 40,000 battles to take place on. But maybe I just have PTSD from siege battles in Total War Warhammer 3. Sprawling hive cities and gargantuan defensive structures or fortress worlds would be gravy on top of a functional Total War 40k game if, and this is a giant mother of all ifs, the way siege battles are supposed to work in Total War Warhammer 40k actually function, like at all. Unlike whatever the Sigmar's nutsack we have now in Total War Warhammer 3. Look, handsome viewers, I'm sure CA have got this, right? Anyway, back on topic. A change to the rank and file formula of unit control in Total War games to something a bit more dynamic, a bit more organic, a bit more modern and responsive should be seen as an evolution of the series, not an incomprehensible impossibility. I think what we've seen so far of the gameplay footage is far from conclusive. What the hell is even going on in these two clips? I'll be releasing a follow-up video soon, scrutinizing the footage we have so far, because as someone who works closely with game engine renders as part of my full-time job, I think I have some interesting discussion points to bring up about the gameplay footage they've shown so far. Anyway, in a very recent interview by Games Radar, they've said that with the new engine, they can make races function much more differently from one another. So for those of you struggling to visualize how a squad of Space Marines might act and function in the game, they could be more like a unit of lead Belcher ogres, but instead of a Renaissance-era cannon ripped from the bulkhead of a ship, he's got a chainsaw in one hand and a heavy bolter in the other, smoother, more responsive movement animations, and the ability to utilize cover in some way, while a horde of Khorne berserkers could function as any hybrid unit we have in Total Warhammer 3 today, but perhaps with the ability to charge and fire their bolt and plasma pistols as they close in for a charge. Look, I don't think it's that far-fetched to imagine Warhammer 40k armies fighting out in the open, but I guess none of this actually matters because now all future Total War games will be coming out on consoles. So that's it, guys. It's all over. Total War is done for. Strategy games on PS5 and Xbox are pretty much the dumbest thing you or I or anyone has ever heard of. It's over. I hope you enjoyed the last 25 years of Total War. There's just absolutely no way a game can be on console and PC and be good just because one has a superior control input method over the other, right? Thanks so much for watching. I'll be covering the crap out of Total War Warhammer 40k, so subscribe for more on that. I'm also planning a Total War Warhammer 3 Empire campaign playthrough, and I'm still enjoying the balls off of Rogue Trader, which is probably one of the best games to play if you're looking to immerse yourself in the grim darkness of the 41st millennium. If you can get past the endless walls of text, and if reading is not your thing, check out my ongoing Grimdark Unfair playthrough, link in the description. See you next time, cheers.